Shalom. This relates to news. In the opening half of 2025, the US dollar dropped a dramatic 10.8%, the steepest decline in over 5 decades since 1973. The slump reflects the investors' concern over the president's aggressive tariff agenda, spiraling national debt, and mounting pressures on the Fed to cut interest rates. As the dollar falters, alternative currencies and gold have surged, while the U.S. equities recover in a volatile yet recalibrated financial landscape. This is Wayan Report.
Alarm buzzing.
U.S. plunges 10.8% in the worst half since 73. The tariffs, economical instability, suspicion and lack of trust relating to these investors, relating to stability and reliability of the economy, and also increase in national debt. And most of all, these tariffs, aggressive tariffs that are becoming problematic relating to economically, relating to as far as stability. That was a Wayan Report. We continue with more news. You have in relating to the Diddy case. I've seen a video where there won't be no partial pretty much deliberations or continued deliberations relating to both sides, relating to relating to making a decision relating to that under the RICO and different charges of his. Senate Republicans hauled Trump's big bill to pass after a turbulent all-night session, because you've been having back and forth related to the regarding the big bill act. So senators, Republicans, Senate Republicans, they did a turnabout relating to that, and they're trying to, in a matter of speaking, tweaking out certain things relating to try to get it passed by this deadline, which is on Friday. You have so it says Senate passed the one big beautiful bill after a turbulent all-night session. Now, I've seen a report talking about tensions between Elon Musk and Trump. Trump considering allegedly relating to deporting Elon Musk on how legitimate it is, but I've seen that. There's something about him relating to EV subsidiaries. You know what I mean? So it's pretty much trouble between both of them. But here he goes. Trump says he will take a look at deporting billionaire Elon Musk, and he's also talking about South Africans too. You know what I mean, as well. And protective status removal relating to over 500,000 Haitians. See that report. And I see the report relating to defiant lawyers talking about can the FBA, foundational Black Americans, can they be deported? Now, he was saying that on one side, no, they can't. But even though it would be illegal, he could, especially if no resistance relating to can go against him from doing that. You know what I mean? it would be, I mean, if he could get away with doing that, he probably could, what I mean. But like you were saying, it would be it'd be illegal, but doesn't mean he wouldn't try it. What I mean, in a matter of speaking. So it's a yes and no on that, in a matter of speaking. And Trump was talking about, he was down in Florida related to alligator Alcatraz. And that's a detention down in Florida, a detention center to hold migrants, man. They call it alligator Alcatraz because it's surrounded by alligators. If you try to escape, there's gators in there. You know what I mean? That's why they call it that. Now, related to what I was talking about with that thing, that was a report. I seen that somebody posted that, and like I said, it would be illegal not to do it, but if one has the power and they have the power to do it, they'll do it. You know what I mean? If they can do it without any opposition to oppose that, then they possibly could do it. And that's what matter he is saying. Scripture talks about Daniel 7:25 talks about they changed the times. Let me get it. Scripture talks about the earth has been given to the hands of the wicked, man. So they in a position of power. When you write the laws, statute, decrees, you can selectively choose to enforce or not enforce, or you revise and change. So from a constitutional aspect, it'll probably be illegal, but but since they control that, they could choose whether they could change it or revise it to fit if they really wanted to do it, even though it would be, in a matter of speaking, illegal to do that, man. By the wording or writing relating to that. But since they control relating to the statute, decrees, and the laws, they can change and do certain things as they choose, man, because it's in their power to do that. You know what I mean? So in the matter of speaking, it would be illegal, but one's in a position of power, being they control the laws and statutes, and there's no oversight of authority to relating to supersede it, to challenge that, to perhaps interfere or disrupt that. Then if they can do that and they feel they can do that and they have that power to do that, then they'll try to do it. You know what I mean? In a matter of speaking. Get Daniel 7. That was one of the lawyers on talking about that a little bit. I seen that on the post. So Daniel 7. And he speaks with great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Speaks great words against the Most High, blasphemy against the Most High. And he shall wear out the saints, that's the righteous, the prophets of the Most High. Scripture talks about the righteous complain continually, man. And he think to change the times and laws, because they can change the times and laws, the policies. With the laws comes with the policies, the policy, statute, decrees, and different contracts and different forms of legislation that they control, man. So yeah, they supposed to honor certain things by legal writing, but no, if they choose not to, they don't have to, because in a matter of speaking, they can they can change, revise, and even enforce at their choosing, man, because the power's in their hands, man. The power's in their hands. They have the power of the purse relating to laws, changing it, revising it, or enforcing it, or not enforcing it at their will, man. 7:25. He shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints. The Most High will think to change times and laws. It should be given to it, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times. So that goes with certain things are given to ones in a position of power because it's given to them, man. You know what I mean? They're being blessed with that power to have a form of dominion related to their rulership, and with that comes with control of everything, man, for a time and season, man. And of course, the scripture talks about in Job, I believe, 14, talk about they're not going to go beyond the bounds that they're not going to pass. So they're limited to their time, man. There's a time they're not going to go relating. There's a time of rule, inception, which is the beginning, but there's also an end to their rulership. Scripture talks about second Esdras, Esau's the end for Jacob's for Esau for Jacob's for Esau's the end of the world, but Jacob's the beginning that follows. Shalom. So we coming in end of a time period relating to this rulership. I'm going to read it again, 7:25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. That's the point, change laws, man. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times divided of times. Let me get 8:25. Let me see that one. Shalom. 8:20, I believe. 8:24. All right. His power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. So he's going to be mighty, but not by his own, man, because he has a little help in a matter of speaking, man. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy mightily, and the holy people. And that's the wicked, man. So that power has been given to him by the help of Yahweh Shem Yoshai, man. You know what I mean? He's the one that gave him that power, man. You know what I mean? 25. And through his policies, part of the policies are the law, statute, decrees, man. That's part of the policies, man. Also, he shall cause craft to prosper. And that craft goes to building, man. Like art and crafts, he's building, man. You know what I mean? So he's causing craft to prosper in his hand because it's given to him, man. That's part of that, you know, that's a blessing. You know what I mean? So through his policies, he's gonna build it and make it to prosper, man. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, which is his mind. He's lifted. Scripture talks about Revelations talk about I said a queen, I shall see no sorrow. I shall see no sorrow. You know what I mean? And scripture talks about in his inward thoughts that his houses shall increase from generation to generation. That's 18 of Revelation. That's also 49 of Psalms. The scripture talks about also Obadiah talking about his pride shall deceive thee, man. You know what I mean? Obadiah 1. So he's going to be magnified in his heart, man. That goes to his pride, man. And by peace shall destroy many. So he's going to guise it in forms of legislation that has the guise to benefit a great multitude of people. but at the same time, that same legislation is going to destroy the many, man. That's why he's building and crafting relating to forms of these policies, man. And through his policies, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. So it's going to come, this legislation and different things going to come in guise of peace, but it's going to destroy many, man. You know what I mean? It's going to look from the optics of that, man. Relating to Revelation, that's going to come in a certain form, a certain style, man. That's going to be, for example, that's going to be interesting, or it's going to attract to do something, because how it's going to be displayed out. Also, who's going to be helped facilitate that to help push that, man. So it's going to come in a way where it's going to be very attractable, man. You know what I mean, to many, and it's going to be displayed in a certain way, but ultimately through that it's going to destroy many, ultimately. So I'm just using that as an example. That's Revelation relating to the MOTB, because that's a form of a policy, statute, decree that's going to be collectively, in a matter of speaking, mandatory. And he shall also stand up against the prince of powers, and shall be broken without hand. Go to, let's see, 2nd Ezra 11, 2nd Ezra 13. Go to Revelations 12, around 7 area. So that goes to them fighting against the powers, man. The carnal angels versus the spiritual angels, man. They're carnal angels. You know what I mean? So that goes to that scripture 824 and 825. Let's continue. Zohan Mandani officially won Democratic relating to the city mayor. He'll run against Eric Adams. Newsom overhaul housing reform in California. This different news. Senate strikes down ban on state AI regulation. Dad jumps overboard to rescue daughter as she fell from Disney. You have why 3 Republicans voted against the Trump big bill. Tax breaks, I believe a lot of spending cuts is part of that. Brian Kerberger pleads guilty of deleting 4 University Idaho University. Chuck Schumer slams the one big beautiful bill as it passes in the Senate. And many people are probably against it relating to that. Tax breaks for the rich, a lot of spending cuts. There'll probably be just certain programs and different things. Go ahead there, Liane. Fired. She speaks on fallen firefighter relating to that. DOJ, Department of Justice, charging hundreds of people in the largest healthcare fraud bust in history. You had a fentanyl bust as well, man. It's a major thing. The drugs. Off-duty officer shot in confrontation identified. Jimmy Swagger, he passes away at 90 years old. Reverend. There's a report somebody posted relating to, Chinese had relating to where was that? A blackout bomb to possibly take out relating to power generators to black out majority of cities. I seen that on a post and the other day. And also you have this thing somebody posted relating to a mosquito-like spy drone, or a spy drone shaped like a mosquito, right here. So again, as far as technology, man, you know, all these nations, man, China, US, they have technology that that we don't even know about, man. They own you know, things that we can't even fathom or begin to understand as far as what they have, as far as a technical capability aspect, man. You know, mosquito drones, robotic dogs, you know what I mean, different types of things, man, you know what I mean. So scripture talks about Revelation 6:4, eat on the red horse to take peace from the earth using the great sword. 6:4 Revelations. Part of that sword is his technology, man. That's part of that blessing, the sword. Also, scripture talks about relating to Isaiah 50. Isaiah 54. I believe it's 16, I think. Behold, I created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, the blacksmith, and he bringeth forth an instrument for his work. So he creates an instrument, he forges, he makes, he melts it down, forges, and make it where it becomes an instrument. That instrument ultimately becomes a weapon, man. For his work, I have created the waster to destroy. In one version, I have created the waster for soldiers to use to kill. That's another version. I believe GNT or one of them versions. So these things were created for certain people to use to be weaponized and used as a weapon, man. Now that's this is the KJV. This is GNT. Let me see if this is the one. I created the blacksmith who builds a fire and forges the weapon. That forge goes to shaping it, making it, refining it, you know what I mean? And that weapon ultimately is the instrument, man, that's going to be used as that weapon. And also create the soldier who uses the weapon to kill. The soldiers what? You know what I mean? The soldiers are fighters, man. That's why they're trained in certain things to ultimately use certain things in forms of deletion, man. You know what I mean? Oppenheimer, that movie, you know what I mean? Weapons, you know what I mean? So that goes to that. This is some quick news, man. The parts of his weapons, different things relating to the technology, you know, that's put in his mind by Yahweh Shem Yashah, the creator, who put it in his mind to begin to make these tools relating to these weapons, man. That's why you seeing things like mosquito-looking drones and electronic, different types of technology, different forms of technology. Not mosquito, but dogs that have RPGs on it, rocket propelled grenade, man. You know what I mean? These are things that the Lord put in his mind to create, man. You know what I mean? So that goes to the sword, goes to also this technology with that sword, because that's part of his sword, man. Part of his arsenal. So this is just quick reports. I hope it helps relating to information. What else? DOJ announces plans to prioritize cases to revoke citizenship. So that's selective cases, man. There was a word on culling as one of men in truth. Culling means selective slaughter. Selecting a group for a specific purpose, in a matter of speaking. In this case, you know, different groups, prioritizing different groups to do certain things that's not going to be in their favor, man. You know what I mean? We can look at the immigrational aspect, you know, for example, but he said it goes deeper than that. That means changing the dynamic relating to constitutionally, where rights can be revised, changed, or not, or taken away. You know what I mean? Like I said, they can choose to do certain things as far as enforcement selectively, and they can also selectively choose not to enforce at their will, man. So selectively, they can choose to do as they please, man. You know what I mean? So that was this is something short. I hope it helps relate to information. This is Zayah Wolf. Give all praise, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shem, Kadash. This is Zayah Wolf. Praise the men and truth now related to truth and knowledge. So we know this truth and knowledge. And call Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shem, Kadash. Give all praise, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shem, Kadash. I hope this helps, especially related to information. Shalom.